Yeah. Hello. 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 Check, check. Alrighty then. Yeah. I'm just. What's our Twitch account again? I know we have two of them.
It is Trine Esports.
No underscore.
No underscore.
All right. Great.
And it should be. It's a 90-second delay, so.
I'm just. It's not even started yet. I don't know what
Yeah, you got 8 seconds.
Ah, okay.
So 90-second delay.
Sure.
They put it on everything. They're just like, we're not even gonna bother dealing with the fact that this got a 5-minute delay and a 3-minute delay, and no, everything's 90 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. All right. So I just need to wait for it to play any audio from me, and then
Hello. You might be waiting a while.
yeah. Okay. Hello.
Okay, you got it.
It's working. It's working.
Hello. Cool.
Great.
Check, check.
The first 90 seconds or so are going to be useless garbage because I was just sort of testing the microphone. But after
As
that,
long as it works, right?
yeah, and it is working. Okay. Well, now I will put it in the Discord. Yeah. I'm just. What's our Twitch account again? I need to mute that. We're gonna get an echo. Streaming.
Manchester.
Um. Great.
I'm hoping it's Manchester.
Oh, that's what's on the stream title.
Yes, I'm hoping so. Let me double check.
If not, I can change it. Here, I can message.
Been absolute dumbass today, so. Let's see. League. Go up here and Chip and Valparaiso. Yeah, Manchester versus John. We're good.
Yeah, that's good. All right. So welcome to the first game of the year for the Great Lakes Esports Conference League of Legends. This week we have Trine University versus Manchester University, I believe. And kind of getting a slow start here. I think they are discussing picks and strategy and things before the game starts. Although in all honesty, I maybe would be a little worried if I was them, looking up against the competition. As we can see on screen right now, Manchester has 3 diamond-ranked players, 1 platinum-ranked player, and 1 gold player in comparison to our 3 gold players, 1 platinum player and 1 diamond player. For anyone who's unfamiliar with the ranking system, the ranks go from iron to bronze to silver to gold to platinum to diamond to master to challenger. I don't think there's anybody in the Great Lakes Esports Conference who is master or challenger. So diamond is about the worst matchup we could get for our first week. This might be a quick one, although, of course, Trine is pretty good at playing from behind. We have some practice with it, at least in our practices, if not in the tournament. This week we are introducing, I believe, 2 or 3 new members of Trine's varsity team. 3 of our members graduated last year, which means that we have Kettle Whip in the top lane as a new player, Hairless Crab in the middle lane, a new player, and I'm not totally sure if Project Chrono was on the team last year. He might have just been in a different role because I know our jungler did graduate as well. Either way, we'll really get a chance to see how they work together, especially considering they've only practiced, I believe, once or twice as a full team. So going into the pick ban phase here, we're having a little bit of an issue with the Trine Esports Lab at the moment where we lost League Unlocked status, which, long story short, basically just means that we have less options for pick. We're trying to resolve that issue. We're not really sure why it exists, why the problem occurred.
It's just business.
So basically it means the top laner is going to have to probably pick the top laner.
You are the dog's person,
We'll have
huh?
a little bit of a disadvantage going into game 1 at least, because we won't be able to control who gets counterpicked. Or they might pick champions that all of them own, in which case there will be no problem at all and it will be like that never even happened. We'll really just have to wait and see. Fit this to the screen. There we go. That should be somewhat better. A little less blurry. So, for our first 3 bans, I believe these are all targeted bans towards certain players on each team, because, well, to my understanding, Nocturne, Diego, Yumi, Zeri, Victor, and Wukong are all generally not in the meta at the moment. Sivir, of course, is one of the best ADCs in the game. Diana is another targeted ban. Ryze is, of course, a targeted ban, as he is mostly unplayable on the current patch unless you are highly skilled at him. And for our last ban, we will have, drumroll please, Silas. Silas? So, judging from these bans, I think Manchester is going to be focusing on the every lane somewhat equally, whereas Trine is putting a lot of emphasis on the middle lane and jungle. As far as picks go, we'll have roughly 3 minutes to talk about them. When all of the picks are in and we begin our spectator delay. So I suppose I'll wait to go into detail until then, because then I can talk about matchups too. Alright, so are we going to have Manchester trade? Or is this a Tom Kench carry sort of situation? Alright, I'm just going to assume they're not going to, because they would have by now. So, In the top lane, we have Ornn versus Volibear. Both tanks. It looks like both teams' plan is to just sort of ride out the laning phase and then, you know, support their carries. In the jungle, we have Trundle and Belveth, which are two of the carries I mentioned earlier. Both are focused around doing lots of auto attacks very fast, so we will probably have Ornn and Volibear focus on armor, which is where Orianna and Ziggs come in. To be totally honest, I don't know anything about the jungle meta on the current patch, as they are planning on changing a lot of things soon with the preseason update. So I couldn't tell you who's more aggressive, ganks earlier, ganks faster, ganks better between Trundle and Belveth, although I will say just from knowing their abilities, I think Trundle will have an easier time, especially in the early game, as he has a consistent source of crowd control in his pillar, whereas Belveth has a single skill shot that hits a small area and only knocks up in the center, which means that she relies more on her laners to set things up. In the middle lane, we have Orianna and Ziggs. I believe Orianna wins this lane most of the time, considering how long range she is, although the Ziggs bombs can also be long range. They're more predictable the farther that they go, whereas Orianna can be unpredictable from any range and poke him out especially early. In the bottom lane, we have Twitch and Seraphine versus Tahm Kench and Senna. It looks like we're having Senna support, which is a strategy that was, I believe, popularized by the pro scene last year. Basically, you have Tahm Kench get all the farm and gold, and then you end up with this huge, unbeatable tank, while also having a standard AD carry, because Senna just scales ridiculously even with limited resources. It's interesting to see. It will be interesting to see how Trine manages to handle that, or if they do at all, considering that Twitch's main gimmick seems to be blowing up one or two squishy people at the start of the fight, which normally is the opposing ADC, and Seraphine lives and dies based on the strength of her poke, which she can't really do against a Tahm Kench and a Senna, as they can simply poke back, heal up, or do any number of other strategies that just sort of negate it entirely. Now, I would like to say, as this is our first stream of the semester, the first time I've done this in 3 or 4 months, we might have some issues with the broadcast. If we do, just write something in chat, and I will usually see it pretty fast. It might take me a couple minutes or so. I know last year we consistently had issues with the game not showing up on the stream when it would start. I believe I figured out what caused that and think I can fix it. But with the delay, spectator delay, and my lack of ability to switch applications on a single monitor and check if it's working properly, it might just be 2 or 3 minutes before I manage to fix it. So if that does happen, I will ask for patience in that time. Well, the spectator delay is over, so you will either see what I'm talking about now, or you won't see it at all. Alright. Sort of loading in here. We can see the cosmetic items everyone went for. And are we crashing? I think we're crashing. That's not good. Oh.
Hold on a minute. I think it might just be trying to load in.
Hey, we did it. Okay. If you could pull up the stream on your phone or something. Yeah. Alright. So. Start of game. Housekeeping stuff to talk about. Summoner spells. The meta in the middle lane has changed almost entirely to teleport for increased map mobility, away from Ignite, which is a more aggressive style of play that has sort of fallen out of favor. And we're seeing now both teams have 2 teleports each, which means that they are likely to be playing for control of the map and early objectives rather than early kills. In the jungle, we are seeing something interesting with Belveth having Exhaust instead of Flash. Flash, of course, being the usual choice for everyone all the time, considering that it is just the best one in almost every situation, although Belveth, with her cooldown list dash ability, might be thinking that she does not need it in order to keep up with people who do have Flash. In the bottom lane, we are seeing Ghost on Twitch. That is a more self-sufficient style of play as compared to heal, and the heal is on the Seraphine, because of course you still do want to heal in the laning phase, even if you don't want it in the late game on your carry. And Tahm Kench has Exhaust. It's a very defensive option, along with Senna's Ignite, probably thinking that she can go for early kills, or at the very least early poke that requires someone to leave lane. And simply heal back up herself with her Q and Fleet Footwork Rune. Great. Fantastic. I'm not going to go into all the details about runes, because most of the time, most of them don't really make or break a fight, other than lethal tempo, which 3 people in this game have, so I guess I'll go over that one. It's every time they attack a champion, they get stacking attack speed for quite a long duration, and it is quite a lot of attack speed. So in longer fights, that means Twitch, Trundle, and Volibear will end up doing a lot more damage than if they had any other rune. Especially in the early game, as predicted, kind of seeing just light poke back and forth. No fights yet. Nothing really to remark upon. Even the camera is just kind of jumping around to people farming. There's not exactly high octane sort of game yet. Seraphine taking the snare, getting caught out a little bit, but too far back for Manchester to really capitalize, even if they wanted to, which I'm not sure that they do this early. Oh, Tahm Kench taking a snare, taking a load of damage there. He might have to back soon. That is the downside of this strategy, is that he is a melee character, cannot last hit unless he gets into range to be poked. Especially at lower health, that means he might just have to give up on this wave. Looks like he's choosing to stay. And Trine are taking this opportunity to back, as they know they aren't going to be pressured for a while. As far as starting items go, everything is completely normal, except Twitch took a longsword instead of a Doran's anything, which is less of a starter item and more of a real item, so it's a little more gold efficient, even if it's worse for your laning phase. Although, of course, when they're facing up against Tahm Kench, I'm not sure they have a big problem with the laning phase. Ornn in the top lane doing a lot of damage to Volibear. But again, much like Tahm Kench in the bottom lane, he's just going to choose to take it, keep farming, or now he's backing. He just wanted to finish off that last wave. Alright. We have both junglers have backed a single time with roughly the same amount of gold and bought items that are roughly equally useful for each of their champions. Neither of whom have actually ganked yet, so we're still waiting for that to happen. In the middle lane, we're seeing poke. In the bottom lane, we're seeing poke. Early game League of Legends is rough to watch and to commentate over, especially when both teams are as good as these are. If we had bad teams, we probably would have had 20 kills by now, one way or the other. And you know what? Not afraid to say that I think that's much more fun to watch. But unfortunately, everybody in Great Lakes Esports Conference is at least competent. Or at least everybody in this game right now is. It is important to note that Trine have poked people out of lane twice now. Once in the top lane, once in the bottom lane. Which does not bode well for my earlier prediction of Manchester overall winning. Because, Trine at the moment can be said to be winning, even though there's not really that much material advantage, except, oh, wait a minute, Senna gets caught out, has to flash out, will live, but just barely. Trine is now roughly 70 gold in the lead, roughly 30 gold in the lead, and the only major change in the game so far has been Manchester's bottom lane using their defensive summoner spells, which would be Flash for Senna and Exhaust for Tankage. Other than that, I think Orianna teleported back to lane one time, which, with the recent changes to teleport, is basically the only thing you can do with it before 14 minutes. So, oh yeah, we have some teleports on the other side too. Important to note, Volibear has used teleport. Ornn has not. That means if they both back at the same time right now, Ornn will get back faster, which could lead to a 1 CS difference. Which is very good for Ornn, considering Kettle Whip has already piloted the champion to a 20 CS lead. The biggest lead on anywhere on the map currently. Those numbers all the way to the left of items on the scoreboard at the bottom are the ward scores, which is roughly how much vision each person has contributed to the team. You'll notice that Manchester, with the higher ranked players, has higher ward scores overall. Especially this early, that doesn't really mean anything, but we'll probably see it come into play later. While they, oh, and we're seeing a tower dive from Volibear. Ornn has the flash to get out. Oh, he's going back in. Volibear has to flash out. That is not what you want to see if you're a Manchester fan. Kettle Whip holding it down in the top lane. Next time something like that happens, someone might die. Or if it's more than 5 minutes from now, they'll both just flash out again. And we will not really see a change in the game. But of course that is okay. Trine is now at a 1,000 gold lead. Absolutely incredible incremental gameplay here. They are very slowly twisting out advantage. I am not a professional caster, so I can't really remark on how they're doing it or what Manchester United... Nope, not Manchester United. Manchester. What they're doing wrong. I can just sort of look at it and go, here's what I see based on the numbers and the gameplay so far. Which has been Trine managing to poke people out. You know what, actually, probably that's the problem. Trine is getting a lot of free gold from being able to farm unharassed. Although, there are 3 people for Manchester forming up around the top lane. Belveth has Rift Herald. Even if they don't end up killing Kettle Whip, they are going to take some tower plates here if they want to. Which is exciting stuff. Especially since Belveth has her transformation on. They could just take this tower. Ornn not really in a position to defend it. Trine has gotten the first dragon off of that though, which is a permanent bonus to their damage. Although this looks like it is the entire point of Manchester's comp, as they are going to take this Rift Herald and continue pushing with Belveth's units taking all of the tower damage. Ziggs executing the towers at 25% health. Yes, that is 2 towers down in the first 10 minutes. That is quite strong. Quite a strong showing here from Manchester. They have reversed it. They are now the ones with the 1,000 gold lead. And Trine cannot really afford to leave the top lane alone now. Although in the bottom lane we are seeing a gank from Trine. It's going to turn into at least 1 kill. First kill of the game. And also, second kill of the game. 1 to Trundle, 1 to Twitch. And, of course, Seraphine, the support, gets 2 assists. They're sort of even on gold advantage now, except Manchester has created much more like material objective advantage at this point. Although again, the dragon is a permanent bonus to damage which is maybe a little bit better than having better control of the top lane. Although, really, who can say? At the moment, we are waiting as both teams just sort of reset. It looks like they're going to be moving their... Manchester's going to be moving their bottom lane into the middle lane, take a more defensive position. Although it looks like they might not be lane swapping. No, they were just holding it temporarily so that Trine could not get more tower plates. That is a good idea, and it has sort of incentivized Trine to go focus on the bottom lane some more, because they might not believe that they are coming back. Except, of course, they are. Right now, Twitch has more of an item than either Senna or Tahm Kench do, as they have both decided to go for boots first. Means they will do less damage, but also be less susceptible to Trundle sort of running at them again, as just happened. We're also having Volibear teleport down to the bottom lane. Looks like they're trying to make a play for the tower. They unfortunately weren't able to manage to catch Twitch out, although Trine might not know Volibear's here yet, as he's just sort of hiding in bushes. He might pop out of nowhere, ult the tower. There's now 5 people from Manchester grouping up around the bottom lane. Trine are definitely going to get tower dived and are responding in kind, or are responding as if they know that, by simply just running away. This will result in most likely a second tower, or a second first tower taken by Manchester, as Trine loses their lane control. Oh, except they're going to catch out the Volibear completely. He can no longer disable the tower. They can no longer tower dive properly. Fantastic play by the Trundle and the Ornn there. And the Seraphine. Really a good showing all around. Oh, the Ornn ult's coming down. Tries to catch out the Bel'Veth. Misses, as the previously mentioned no cooldown dash is want to do. Trine managed to deny that play and save their own tower. That is very solid showing from what is statistically the underdogs here. Although it is still even on gold. Although, of course, Dragon, again, sort of amplifies the value of whatever gold Trine has by a certain amount, so that those numbers at the top can be misleading. And I would like to issue a retraction. I had said that Volibear and Ornn are both tanks. That is apparently not true. Volibear is going damage. It's an interesting play. I guess they do have a tank in the bottom lane, but that means they have 4 people focusing exclusively on damage, which is most likely in the late game to lead to issues if Tahm Kench is ever, for some reason, unavailable for a fight, as Trine can simply pick off 4 of their people. In the middle lane we had a little bit of an altercation, but nobody actually got hurt or made any meaningful actions. Twitch does have his first item already in comparison to either of his lane opponents, neither of which have an item. Seraphine, of course, taking Moonstone Renewer as fast as possible. They are rushing down this Rift Herald in an attempt to get a second set of 2 towers. And they trade another dragon for it. This one's attack speed. This is an incredible game for Trine, honestly. Just on a luck standpoint. They have the damage dragon and the attack speed dragon, both of which work really well with Twitch and Trundle. And they will also have mountain dragons, which work really well with Ornn and Trundle for on defensive ways. They got pretty much the best possible dragons, if they can take the mountain dragons, which of course is still up to be seen. It looks like Manchester are just going to try to take tower here with the Rift Herald, start pushing in inhibitors at 15 minutes. And we're having a full-on team fight over here. Although it looks like Volibear is going to be caught out again. They do manage to get the inhibitor, but they're all low, have to retreat. Oh, Seraphine going down to a wayward bomb. Tom Kench beaten down by Trundle. Trundle getting a double kill on the person Tom Kench was carrying. That is 3 for 1, I believe. Almost could be 4 for 1 if Senna doesn't manage to survive this. Yes, that is 3 more kills for Trundle. He is 6-0. Trine knows what their win condition is here, and it is definitely the Trundle. They're playing around him very well. Their inhibitor is down, but it's really too early for Manchester to push any advantage off of it, which means that they're kind of just feeding free gold to Trine. Belveth trying to jump over a wall and surprise an Orianna, except just caught out. Ended up having to disengage instead. For as long as they have people up here wave clearing, the super minion here does not really give a tangible advantage. Of course, if they were fighting across the map over a different objective, it would have some sort of problem, or it would supply a problem for Trine. Although at the moment, there are no objectives to fight over. Trine has gotten both dragons. Baron doesn't spawn for another 3 minutes, and even when it does, it's not going to be as impactful as Rift Herald was for Manchester. It looks like they're trying to take down the bottom tower. They do have objective bounties active for Manchester, as they are apparently behind enough in gold for that to happen. I'm not really sure what the strategy is here. Although they do manage to catch the Orianna out, although it might be... They might get a tower at the expense of their middle lane tower, as Volibear is the only one coming to defend it, and he is not a tank. Twitch could probably just kill him as soon as look at him. Yeah, he can't really pressure them off of it. And it looks like Manchester aren't having anyone else back, so we might see another tower taken in the middle lane. Or not. Trine not interested in pushing their luck. For now, they have the 6-0 Trundle defending the tower on his own. He can't really do much. As again, you know, melee champion looking to fight. I wonder if this whole strategy that Manchester is performing is designed to abuse the objective bounty system, because I do not understand why they were given a bounty there. They were only 2,000 gold down. They are 3 towers up. They are given free gold for what seems to amount to no reason. Either way, Trine keeping an eye on the dragon timer. It spawns in 1 minute, roughly. That will be a real breaking point for the game, as that is an objective they are actually interested in fighting over. They managed to get 4. That would be an incredible win for them, with a permanent shield for every member of their team. Manchester, of course, does not want this to happen, thus will also be fighting over it. Oh. Ziggs almost caught out, manages to get just far enough away that Trine no longer feels comfortable chasing him down. And it looks like we're all setting up, both teams setting up around Dragon at the moment, trying to control vision in the area. Although, Manchester does have the Scuttle Crab, which here is just sort of an unremovable piece of vision in the most important part of the map. A win for them that they managed to get it. We have a very closed team structure by Manchester, whereas Ornn for Trine is getting caught out completely. They can't really chase him off. However, he is just a little too tanky at the moment. Oh, Senna going down over the wall. The Ornn ult knocks up 3 people, although Trundle's not really in the position to follow up on it. Manchester can just walk out, but with their support down, I don't know if they can fight for the dragon, except in the bottom, or in the top lane, we're having super minions. Volibear is teleporting to also push the tower. They're managing to stop the backs. Somebody's teleporting from Trine. Yeah, it looks like Ornn went to go match the Volibear. Trine going for the dragon still. It looks like Ornn's going to manage to save the tower completely. That is 3 kills for 1. And Volibear's teleport is down. Their strategy has been revealed completely. Trine knows what to look out for now. They've lost the element of surprise. They've lost the 3rd dragon. they're doing well to be sure, but this game's going downhill for Manchester very quickly. Especially as the inhibitor respawns. They can no longer rely on the wave just pushing in on its own yet, or anymore. They will have to actually commit resources to either diving into grab the inhibitor again, which might result in one of Manchester's team dying, or simply pushing down the lane, which is a lot of wasted time, considering that they've already pushed all the way down that lane, using 2 Rift Heralds in the process. It's not what they want to see, I'm sure. In the middle lane, it is a 4v4 right now as Ornn and Volibear are in the top lane. But Ornn looking to come down and support his team by helping prepare for Baron. Again, Manchester getting incredible scuttle control, although Orianna is taking a page out of their book and split pushing in the bottom lane to try to pressure a tower while her team prepares for Baron. Manchester's going to have to pick what they want to defend more, and it looks like at the moment that's the tower. They don't think Trine will be able to do it in the time it takes them to send Orianna away. Especially considering they have vision on it. Alright. Right now... Oh! Both teams are just sort of looking to get picks. That route was very good. It's not going to result in a kill, though. But if it happens again, it most likely will, as Trine will be playing around it. Senna has been getting caught out a lot so far in this match. Seems to be a consistent issue for Manchester. Something they might want to resolve. Although, to be fair, Orianna for Trine is playing in a similarly aggressive way and being punished for it roughly the same amount. Although, again, it doesn't really look like Manchester are going for kills at all. So, it's not going to result in a death for her as many times. Both teams still playing around the top side. As neither team has gotten a pick, neither team has started Baron, which means they aren't yet going to begin to team fight. And we aren't going to see another dragon spawn for a while, so there's not really going to be split attention. Although they do know Volibear's in the top lane now. Trine might look to engage off of this immediately, especially with Twitch invisible in the back line. Ornn kind of caught out, but also he is the tankiest player in the game by far. Doesn't really mean anything to catch him out. Trine just sort of waffling about in the middle lane. They aren't going in. They aren't really pushing any sort of pressure. While Volibear slowly pushes down the lane. Especially at this point, Trine needs to start taking action. As they are now the group of 4 against the group of 5 that is Manchester. They're still just fighting over vision in the middle lane and around Baron. Manchester has it at the moment, but they are not going to use it to actually take Baron. Or at least I don't predict that they will. As they have put Volibear in the top lane again. Belveth is recalling, looking to spend gold. Someone on Manchester's team just pinged the bottom lane. So it looks like we're not going to see another team fight here for at least a little while. The first Ornn upgrade has come out that is powerful. Basically just makes your existing items stronger. It's part of Ornn's late game strategy to just sort of give that free value to all of his team and turn that 2.3k gold lead into something a little more substantial, as in directly increased numbers. Oh, Orianna getting caught out in the jungle. Belveth managing to take the cone with her. Blast cone. And yeah, okay, she dies to Senna ult and Belveth W, it looked like. Not what you want to see as Trine, especially when Dragon's about to come up and the entire Manchester team is already down there. Ornn completely whiffed the ult, but Seraphine managed to ult 4 people. That is 1 kill for Trine. 2 kills for Trine. It is now a 4v3, and Ziggs is too horrible of a condition to actually fight. Right now we're going to see... It looks like we're going to see Trine get the 4th dragon of the game. That will be the Dragon Soul, a very powerful permanent buff that Manchester can do nothing about. In addition to all the free stats they're already getting from the dragons, they now have a massive shield that regenerates itself and is on everyone all the time. Hopefully this makes them able to fight a little bit better. It makes Orianna able to survive a little bit better. So that we'll see more team fights here coming up. Although Manchester, of course, their strategy relies around split pushing rather than team fighting, so they will never engage a fight. And Trine does not really have the ability to do that without Seraphine Ultimate, which I believe is on... Oh, it's on a fairly short cooldown. It's already up. It was just used in that last fight. The Ornn Ultimate still down for another, looks like 10 seconds, but it'll be up soon. Trine might just look to run it down mid, as it were, pretty soon here, or top, possibly. Volibear's in the bottom lane. I predict as soon as he shows himself, Trine will look for something immediately, as they know that Manchester are not all together. Or alternatively, Orianna will continue farming the jungle. I guess that works too. In the top lane, we are having Ziggs facing off against Ornn. He does basically no damage to Ornn. Trine slowly walking their way up. Belveth is in the jungle. Can get caught out here. Oh, in between 2 ultimates. And just taken down. All of her damage absorbed by Trundle. Although Volibear, of course, in the bottom lane, still pushing. And unfortunately, one of Trine's team managed to get a recall off, which means that they will be able to stop Volibear from ending the game, at least, while also taking Baron. This is a rough position to be in for Manchester, especially considering Belveth is still dead. They do not have Smite. Trine does. They can't really hope to steal this objective unless Trine makes a big mistake here. And we're seeing the teleport come down from Volibear to bring him back into the fight. It's not soon enough to steal the Baron. It's not even enough to kill the Ornn. He has to flash out, leaving Trine with Dragon Soul, Baron, a wave pushing down mid already. They've lost two inhibitor turrets, which means they are more subject. Yeah. Which means they are weaker to split push strategies at the moment. But with the amount of advantage that they have, 4,000 gold lead on top of all the bonus stats they're getting from all of their permanent buffs, it is a rough position for Manchester in Game 1. Manchester need to recognize that their strategy is not working and adapt it somehow. Either focusing on catching people out, Orianna is alone a lot of the time, or focus on more vision. They do have more vision than Trine on the whole, but you know, even more than that seems to be necessary. Or even just look to start team fighting. They don't have that bad of a team fight comp. They just haven't been playing around it up until now. Because split pushing is not working for them yet anymore. Especially now that Trine has 2 of their teleports up. Whereas Volibear's teleport is already down. They can't just rely on minions pushing it on their own. They're having their attention split between 2 lanes as Trine uses their Baron to push 2 towers at the same time. They can't seem to catch any of Trine's team out. The shield is blocking all the poke damage that they do manage to get in. And in the top lane, we see the tower go down as too many people went to defend the middle lane turret at the same time. Now we're having both middle lane and top lane push for inhibitor. In the top lane, we're having Ornn almost caught out, although he will simply just dash out. Now Manchester scrambling to respond. Let's try and take their middle lane inhibitor turret. And it looks like Trine is forming up around the middle lane to try to push down the inhibitor as 5. And they're just going to get it for free. No one has died yet. Manchester not really doing anything at the moment. Ziggs has teleport, but it's the minion wave in the bottom lane is not even to Trine's base yet. And the minion wave in the top lane is at their own base. He can't teleport anywhere relevant. Now it looks like they're looking to take the top lane turret anyway. They can't really push a wave in because of the Ziggs, but they're getting just chip damage on it here and there with the long-range cannon from the Baron buff. And it's slowly going down as they have to continue defending the middle lane as well, as Ornn is there with his super minions. That's an Ornn ult coming down, and he whiffs it. Although it looks like, yep, that is a 3-person Seraphine ult. Again, the Seraphine ults this game have absolutely annihilated Manchester. That is 2 for 1. Ornn looks like he could die, except he flashes out. Seraphine manages to get another root down. That is going to be game. 5 people down. Trine, the Baron buff has disappeared, but their minions are already there. They can just end. That is an exciting game 1. Little bit of an upset here. I didn't think Trine would do nearly that well, to be honest. Alright. Exciting stuff here. Now we'll have game 2 coming up here soon. If I can get the client back on the screen. There we go. Alright, so while we wait for them to set up a lobby, we can go over some stats here. This icon means champion damage. Damage dealt to champions. Trine, on the whole, having much higher values than Manchester, except for the Ziggs. Put on a very strong performance with 30,000 damage. Although, again, their comp was not really designed to fight champions, it looks like. So that's not too unexpected. What is unexpected is how much gold earned and gold per minute Trine is getting, considering that the entire point of Manchester's comp was to control waves and win the game through attrition. You would think that they would be looking to get their gold from other places, but they just can't match Trine getting kills and getting dragons and honestly just farming better, even though, you know, they were also going for fights at the same time. If we go into the graphs back here. Oh, graphs are still broken? Okay, that's cool. And I will wait for the next lobby to come up. And while we do, I guess we can talk about issues with using statistics to make predictions. Oh, actually, no. Here's what we can do. Is if we go to, I'm going to a third-party stats website. And I'm going to look up the, Manchester team. Because that did not seem like diamond play. They were just kind of throwing stuff at the wall and hoping it sticked. They picked red side again. Nice. I don't actually know why, but that is interesting. Hang on. P0KE. Platinum 432 LP. Hold for a moment while I get this pulled up. Oh, great. Here's a team with all of them. Okay. So, okay. Their team is. I want to make sure I get this right. Poke, Moolah, Lachlan, Akira, and a player who isn't in yet, I believe. Oh, Arklin for Panda Turtle Bear. Okay, so I will pull up Arklin as well. Oh, okay, yes. So, Panda Turtle Bear presented on this screen as Gold 4. He is Gold 4. That one is normal. Poke presented as Diamond 2. He is Diamond 2 in Flex Queue, which has much looser matchmaking restrictions, and you can play with as many people that you know as you want. So it's maybe a little bit less of a good indicator of individual skill as compared to teamwork. In ranked solo, he is Platinum 4, which is more in line with Trine's team. Lachlan, similar story, although it's only Diamond 4 to Platinum 1. So that just makes sense. Moolah is Platinum 3 in ranked flex, unranked in ranked solo. Akira is Diamond 2 in ranked solo and Platinum 4 in ranked flex. That is interesting. Strong player right there. And then Arklin, who just got subbed in, is Gold 2 in solo and Platinum 4 in flex. So it's much more evenly matched than it first appears. And we're using a draft website to speed up the actual draft process. Technically, that's also how we are supposed to do it, since people don't have League Unlocked or all the champions. So I'll see if I can get that pulled up on the screen here. And we can watch in real time as they draft. And then watch in fake time as they have to redo the draft in the client. Because it is very well designed for sure. Let's see. Can I get that one? Yes! Alright. There we go. Draft simulating website. So it looks like we're just going to be waiting for both teams to get ready as they take a quick water and bathroom break. And you know what? I will leave this up here as well as I take a break to drink some water. I have been speaking a lot for like half an hour straight. So I will be right back as we begin Game 2. Alright, I have returned. The draft is underway. It's interesting to see how people respond to the events of the previous game and how it informs or changes their strategy. It looks like here, Manchester have decided to ban Twitch and pick Trundle so that Trine cannot have them. Whereas Trine is looking to do almost the exact same thing. I think that's even the same order they banned those 3 champions last time. So that is very interesting stuff. Ornn is notable for being one of the only top laners that doesn't have a real counter pick you can do against him, because he just sort of passively exists in lane. Manchester looking to take Camille, maybe? Yes. Interesting choice. Normally a dominant early game champion, but you can't really be dominant early game against Ornn, especially if he decides to play under tower. So, won't have much advantage to snowball with. Next up, we have Trine using all of their available time to make a decision, and ending up with a Mumu. Used to be a jungler. I believe sometimes still is a jungler, but has also seen some prominence in the support role this patch, these last couple patches. So it'll be interesting to see if Trine is using it as a support pick or a jungle pick or simply a pick to confuse Manchester, because you can't really play around it if you don't know where it's going. And we see the Jinx, always the ADC. Another strong user of lethal tempo. I think tier 2 this patch, if I remember properly. Just kind of a solid pick all around. No glaring weaknesses, but no overbearing strengths either. Manchester waiting their entire available time, as every team always does. And ending up with Zilean, that's a little bit of a strange pick. You don't really see him in competitive situations all that often. Of course, very powerful. Can pick people out on his own. Can even prevent one of his teammates from dying, or himself. Which, judging by the support play last game, is something Manchester does need. And they are going to ban Diana again. Trine looking to ban someone. We'll know in 20 seconds. Sylas again. It's interesting. Although I think Manchester banned Sylas last time, didn't they? Manchester banning Victor. And Trine banning someone. Rise again. I don't understand that ban. Who on Manchester plays Rise, and do they play it well? Let's see. And that is a Vayne. It looks like will be the ADC of Manchester. Generally a strong late game pick. Scales really well. Camille also scales really well. It looks like Manchester trying to play around dragging the game out as much as possible instead of ending early like last time. Understandable, as that backfired on them quite heavily. Renata Glask as the support for Trine. It's interesting that Trine decided not to take Seraphine, despite how well it worked for them in the previous game. It's not banned. No one picked it away. They just decided not to use it. That's not something you see very often in these sets of 3. Well, of course, Orianna and Ornn, perennial picks. I don't think Orianna has ever been bad. There are just some patches where she's closer to 50%, some patches where she's further away, but always in a positive direction. Her win rate is always very solid. And Manchester picked Cassiopeia. Again, another strong late game champion to go along with Vayne, Camille, Trundle somewhat, and Zilean somewhat. So they're looking to play for the late game. Interesting stuff. Okay. Now we will wait for Trine, or for Manchester to be ready to start, because it looks like Trine is already ready. Um, then they will redo that draft as quickly as possible. And then we will have our 3 minutes of spectator delay, where you can simply listen to me ramble on about stuff no one cares about. And then we'll have the game, which is what you all are really here to see. Whether you know people who are playing, or you know me. Although, looking at names in chat, I don't think there are anyone here that I know personally. It's quite alright. Yes, they are finally ready. Where am I getting messages? Oh, either way doesn't matter. Right.
No spark between us anyway.
My heart was already broken.
Can I get a here together in chat
On to you.
if you're here together with me?
More of a dog.
There's a lot of dead air this broadcast. I'm running out of things to say.
It's just business.
It'll be interesting to see if they pick champions. Yeah, okay, it looks like they're picking champions in their role rather than in the pick order that happened in the draft. Doesn't functionally change anything. It's just interesting to see if they choose to do that or not. Technically, also, bans can be different as long as they aren't what the other team picked. So sometimes you'll see people ban all the champions starting with the letter A that weren't picked because they're faster to click on. Not really seeing that here, though. Lachlan taking his sweet time to pick the champion we already know he's going to pick. For anyone unfamiliar,
Ignorant thrall.
there is a search bar for champions, and there's 150 of them. So if you're just scrolling through, it takes a minute to find. But they're sorted alphabetically, so Cassiopeia should just already be on the screen. And then even if it's not, you can just type Cass into the search bar and instantly get it. Or you can spend 12 seconds waiting. That's also an option. Why are we waiting so long? I guess everybody's deciding to waste time. Trine needs to get their shit together immediately, or I will go... I'll just walk over there and, like, start swinging, honestly. I don't know what's happening. We have 4 uninterrupted minutes of staring at exactly this screen with no changes up ahead of us. So if you at home need to get popcorn, water, snacks, drinks, now would be the time. If you didn't already do it when I left for 2 or 3 minutes to get water myself, or when we were just sitting around waiting for the draft to start, or when we were sitting around waiting for the draft redo to start. Either way, you've got time now. Looking at matchups, Ornn can just sort of brick wall Camille and not engage with the game for the first 15 minutes or so, so going to be a very passive lane. In the jungle, we have a Mumu versus Trundle. Trundle, of course, the hyper carry from last game, and a Mumu, less of a carry, more of a supporting character, but having access to those big stuns is very helpful for Trine's game plan, as we saw last time with the consecutive Seraphine ult, Ornn ult. combo. In the middle lane, we have Orianna versus Cassiopeia. I think Orianna wins this lane, as she can play from a little bit farther of a range than Cassiopeia. Although, later on into the game, I think Cassiopeia will outscale her if Trine doesn't do anything about it. Or if she even just manages to go even in lane. In the bottom lane, we have Jinx and Renata versus Vayne and Zilean. Both supports can just say no to their ADC dying. Except Renata's is on a basic ability, so it comes into play earlier. So we might see Trine be more aggressive in the early game than the Vayne Zilean combo. Although, of course, Trine is good at wave control, so Vayne and Zilean most likely won't have the chance to freeze it under their tower, which means that they will have a little bit of aggression pointed at them for the entire laning phase, as compared to top lane, where even if you do try to freeze against Ornn, he can just kind of accept it. Plus, Camille, as the lowest ranked player on Manchester's team, might not have the strongest grasp of wave control, considering that I am around the same rank, and I do not understand wave control at all, conceptually, or in, like, doing it. I think that's what we saw last game, the Volibear constantly pushing the wave into the Ornn. Is he didn't really know how not to do that. He was also around our same rank of gold-ish. The Zeri is a very interesting ban. She has something like a 45% win rate. She's very good in professional play, but to be honest, this is a far cry from professional play. You're really just playing against whatever rank the opponent is. So this is really like a platinum solo queue game, where Zeri just sort of falls flat completely. And especially with Riot's announcement that they are going to just absolutely dumpster her until such time as they can give her a full rework, because she is a little bit of a toxic champion design. I'm not sure that banning the Zeri is useful. If someone has put in enough time and effort to learn Zeri, they most likely have a deeper pool of champions than just Zeri that they can also play to a proficient level. And again, gonna have to make sure that we get display capture on so that we can see the game on the stream, so we don't end up with a black screen for 15 minutes like we did last time. Or the game will crash. That works too. There we go. Hopefully that works. When we get into game, I can take it out of full screen for a second and check. Or I could pull up another computer for the monitor. It's slowly loading in. Why did I... Oh, never mind, we're fine. I thought I was sent out of the lobby for a second. That would have been another delay. Okay, so draft. Draft. We have Manchester. Same two bans as the previous game, but then the third one is Trundle, rather than them picking it. Trine is banning roughly the same as well, it looks like. Oh, that took a second to update. They have... Oh my god. So this game is gonna go sideways really fast. We have Sivir Yumi. It's like the hyper carry comp right now. Versus Senna Seraphine, which is one of the strongest poke comps in the game. So either Trine will win early or they won't win at all, really. Looks like Manchester is going to pick a character named nothing. Cassiopeia. Great. Literally exactly down to the second the amount of time allotted, and he ended up picking the same one as last game. So that's cool. To be fair, it did work really well last game, but that just seems like the kind of thing you lock in immediately and not after 30 full seconds. Trine similarly lost in thought. Ended up picking a Mumu who did not work very well in the last game, so that's interesting. For beds, we're going to have Trine banning in just a couple seconds here. A champion played in a role. Camille, okay, yes, the Camille, okay, that makes sense. That counters the Ornn that they're sort of relying on for tank stats. Manchester are thinking about banning a character, possibly one from last game. No, it's Victor again. Who plays Victor? I think I've tried a second. When the art is brought up to this scale, you can kind of see the differences in the way different characters are drawn. Like, you can tell Cassiopeia is a little bit older of a character because her splash art is not as dynamic as, like, Sivir's. And then you have Corki here in the center, that's this one, who just looks bad. Just looks real bad. Like, this Seraphine and Senna art are, like, in the game. Amumu is also in the game. It's from a similar time period, but it's kind of stylized, so it kind of works. And Corki just sucks. Oh, right, the draft. They banned Wukong. We haven't seen a Wukong yet. I don't think they banned that before. That's kind of interesting. What's up with that? Then we get the Mordekaiser ban. Trine's top lane does not play Mordekaiser. He does not know how. He has never played it before. I don't know where that ban's coming from. That seems like the kind of thing they're going to be discussing in chat. Perhaps something along the lines of, we misclicked and meant to hit this other one. Trine picking Ari instead of Orianna. Great. Cool, good choice. Manchester taking the Ornn, that's interesting. Especially given last game where if Trine didn't already know how to counter it, they learned from watching Manchester. Then we get the Olaf pick. So there's not really a lot of tank stats on this team except for Ornn. And we get the Fiora pick, which is or we don't, or we do, or we don't. I was gonna say that's one of the only counters that Ornn has, really. Yes, it is one of the only counters Ornn has, because percent max health true damage, no amount of armor will save you from. Definitely more dynamic to watch, too. So that is the draft on the website. Now we have to wait for them to pull it into the client, and then redo it, and then wait 3 more minutes for the game to start. So, we've got some time, to be sure. And we are getting the ready message in the chat. We're gonna start the second wave of draft now. Quickly, quickly.
I'm on to you.
Yes! Speed! Speed up! Faster! Please! Yes!
No spark between us anyway.
So much waiting.
My heart was already broken.
Viego, of course, being a sad person all the time.
Inevitable.
For anyone who hasn't seen Yumi before, you're in for a treat if you really like watching somebody play the game without moving or interacting or pushing buttons, really. That might sound like I disrespect people who pick Yumi, and that is because it is true. I do not respect people who pick Yumi. Terrible, horrible character design.
I will wait for you to be better.
Spends the entire game stapled to another champion, never actually plays the game, and just constantly pushes the heal button over and over at no risk to herself. But late game, she makes strategic decisions, like whether to stay on Sivir or go to Olaf. And it's literally just based on which one of them has more kills, but, you know, that's fine. Okay, so it looks like we're going to have the Seraphine carry and the Senna support, which is kind of strange considering that all of the good Seraphine ults from the first game came from the support. But we will see if the ADC can pick up the slack. Although again, like I mentioned in that first game, having two carries is strong, so Senna is a good pick. And not having one of those carries be a melee character is better for not dying in the early game. So that's solid too. "55 seconds until we are 3 minutes away from starting." I'm not sure if Udyr's banned. Udyr just got a rework, so he might be banned as a new character, but he's a whole barrel of laughs, really. It's like if Olaf was better. So it is fun to watch. I would imagine if he was available to be picked, Manchester would have picked him. Or we might not have seen so many trundles this game. For right now, what's next? 4, 3, 2, 1. Spectator delay begin now. Waiting 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Two minutes and 20 seconds. Time and everything. Hopefully it works this time. If it doesn't, I will just be immediately ending the broadcast. I'm not going to bother doing an outro again. It's just 90 seconds of me having to talk to no one about nothing. Just being like, oh, well, I wish it would have worked. Well, no. Like, I do, but, you know, when it doesn't, what am I supposed to do about it? Not if it doesn't, when it doesn't. This always happens, really. Like, it literally constantly happens. One minute and 20 seconds. Riot as a company are not interested in actually updating the client to work properly because it is not yet impeding their financial growth. So we just get issues like graphs being non-functional for 6 months or a year. Spectator client just doesn't work sometimes. People's games crash constantly on worse hardware, which is the reason they point to, why they won't upgrade the client, is because they don't want it to be too complicated or to not work well enough on worse computers, older hardware. But you know, it doesn't now, so even if it doesn't then it's still fine, right? Really? I don't know. They don't ask people's opinions. They don't really recognize the importance of having your game work properly. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Buzzer noise. Okay. So now let's see if I can get the visuals on the stream and also the client doesn't crash. Hey! We have game. Do we have game on stream? It looks like we might. Great news, everyone. We will be able to watch the third game of this series. Now remember, it is 1-1 right now. Looks like both teams are no longer playing around. They are not going to be invading anywhere. For summoner spells, we have Sivir taking Cleanse. It worked well for Vayne last game, so makes sense. Yuumi has Heal and Ignite instead of Flash because she doesn't need it. Yuumi just generally can't die as long as the rest of her team is alive. Seraphine is pushing the emote button over and over, and we get to watch it because the directed camera says we should. In the top lane, we're seeing Fiora emoting as well, but a different kind of emotes that are still called emotes. Isn't that interesting? Oh great, we're back here. On Trine side, we have a heal and a ghost. It's a defensive summoner spell lineup. In the middle lane, Cassiopeia has ghost again. It worked out well last time, makes sense. And Trine has 2 teleports, as they always like to do. Olaf is starting at his red buff because he's a very auto-attack based jungler. Amumu is starting as blue buff because he's a very spell-based jungler. In the middle lane, we're having people fight just a little bit, but like not really. In the top lane, no one is doing anything. Everything is as it should be. In the bottom lane, we have Seraphine farming, as expected. We have 2 prestige skins. It doesn't mean anything for gameplay, but it does mean that the Seraphine is a fan of Seraphine, and the Senna is a fan of Louis Vuitton, I guess. I don't know. That one was made in collaboration. That is a fun fact for you all. Louis Vuitton collaborated on exactly, I think, 2 skins. And they're both in the True Damage line, which is a line that was accompanied by like a rap single that Riot made. Honestly, it kind of sounds fake, just talking about it, but it was much less popular than their K-pop line, which is also a real thing. So they didn't prestige the rest of them, but Louis Vuitton prestige for Senna and for Kiana, I believe. Yumi actually getting caught out there for a second. I don't know how that happened. That is the purest definition of a skill issue. Like, how are you ever taking damage in the early game as Yumi? In the top lane, we are seeing Trine and Manchester junglers fighting. It looks like Amumu has to flash out. Cassiopeia flashes in, gets a kill. That is first blood for Manchester on the person who carried them the most last game. That is not good for Trine. Trine probably should not have committed to a fight there. I don't really know what Amumu was thinking. In the middle lane, we have Cassiopeia using her double buffs she just got to harass Ahri. So Manchester asserting early game dominance a little bit. In the top lane, we have two people that are just kind of fighting a little bit. Oh, nope, that is a hard engage by Ornn, or as rough equivalent. It's not going to turn into anything, but imagine if it did. I'm imagining it. It's so exciting. Right now, both teams are playing a very slow, incremental kind of game. Manchester technically up 600-ish gold due to that kill, and a little bit better farming in the middle lane with the pressure that the jungle buff provides. Although again, Goldgraph does not take into account permanent stat scaling like Senna's, or, you know, player skill. So anything below 3,000 is kind of a wash. Olaf around the bottom lane. Trine does have enough vision that they probably won't get ganked here, but Dragon is up. They might be playing around that. Or the jump in. Holy shit. That was a really good play. They might catch the Seraphine out here. There is 4 people committing to it. Nope, they will not. Unfortunately, they just don't have any hard crowd control, except for, it looks like just Cassiopeia and Yumi ults. Other than that, they kind of have nothing to work with. They're just kind of planning on running people down before they can run away. Which is fair enough, I suppose. Trine getting a little bit sauced in the bottom lane now because of the pressure that gave, or that altercation gave. And then Ornn poking Fiora out a little bit. She keeps ending up under tower. As long as the jungler doesn't come, I don't think it'll turn into a real someone dies kind of fight. Oh. And then Ornn getting completely outplayed there. By the Fiora, standing on the pole before it comes out of the ground and just like taking the slight knockback that it gives and turning that into a stun. Now we have Ornn trying to engage. He flashes in. Cassiopeia ghosts in. Unfortunately, Cassiopeia flashes out. Nothing bad happens at all. Trine looks like going for Dragon now. Ornn is topside. Olaf is on the top side. Cassiopeia's ghost is down, so she can't efficiently like sprint down and get it. And I don't even think Manchester knows that it's happening. They are not even walking to it, despite the even pace of the game right now. So officially, any poke that Manchester does is now worse, because Trine has permanently increased health and mana regeneration. It'll be good for Ari and Fiora especially, who are getting poked out a little bit right now. And in the bottom lane, Manchester not having it will be very helpful for Trine, as they are looking to poke. So all around, a very good turn of events for Trine. Sivir there, trying to spell shield in response to the snare orb hitting her, but just a little bit too late. Still ends up working out because you can snare the back half too, and it lasts 2 seconds now, so even if you miss, it really doesn't matter. In the top lane, we have a good old-fashioned 2-on-3. Looks like Amumu's going to die here. Yes, caught out by the mid laner, top laner, and jungler. And they're going to tower dive the Fiora. It looks like it's going to be successful. In the bottom lane, we had a little bit of a fight there that we had to cut away from. Ooh, the saucy root, followed up by hopefully just killing Yuumi. Maybe? Maybe? Yes! That is 2 kills in the bottom lane, making the score 3-2, although Manchester, again, rushing down Rift Herald as soon as possible and using it to take down the top lane tower. This is their MO, it seems. So, right now, looking at the score, it seems as though Manchester is doing better on the top half of the map with top jungle and mid, whereas Trine is winning in the bottom half, which, given the importance of Dragon in this current meta, is a good sign for Trine. Especially considering that they had to commit so hard in the top lane to get even 2 kills. That was 3 people who could have been anywhere else on the map doing anything else, and instead they gave up farm in exchange for kills. It's a deal you take most of the time, but specifically in that situation, with their bottom lane just being annihilated, I'm not sure it was the right one. In the middle lane, Cassiopeia is heavily out-farming Ahri, but in the top lane, Fiora is heavily out-farming Ornn, so we get the Fiora ult, he just dashes out, it's fine. The Ahri ult comes down, does not seem like it's going to lead to a kill either way, although she did just kind of stand in that, and now she's caught out. Oh, that is a kill and a flash. Manchester's mid lane getting absolutely outplayed there in that fight. And then in the top lane, Fiora showing why she's just genuinely such a strong pick. Constantly getting poked out and just healing back up with Grasp and the Vitals healing from her passive. And the constant movement of her dash. In the bottom lane, we are going to have a 3-on-3 here in a moment, or Amumu is going to walk away. One of the two. Yup, they're just going to walk away. Solid. Ahri is now, I think, officially winning the mid lane. Because even though she has less farm and less assists, she also has less deaths, and everyone knows that in the mid lane, if you solo kill your opponent, you are officially the better player, no matter what else happens. So congratulations, Hairless Crab is officially better than Lachlan, and will always be There's no other option. This is the end of Lachlan's career. He will never play again after this. He is completely and totally defeated mentally. We might even see him disconnect out of pure rage here in a moment. Dragon is up. And it looks like Manchester are actually playing for Dragon this time. They already have 2 people down there. The other 3 are in close-ish proximity. Trine is not around to defend it, really. So it looks like they're going to get this one for free. Cloud Drake is the bonus movement speed one. It's not the best in the world, but, you know, not the worst either. That's the Ornn teleport coming in the top lane, so that he can assist with Dragon and then also stop Fiora from taking the tower. Kind of a upsetting development from the standpoint of trying to win, because obviously they want to have the free tower there, which they don't get. Ornn is far up in the lane, and nope, not actually going to turn into a fight. Ahri and Seraphine have almost the exact same items right now. That is very funny. Senna misfiring a Q in the wrong direction as the minion moved. It looks like, yes, Yuumi has bought an anti-healing item, which is very ironic. We're already seeing the late game monster that Sivir can become as Trine are being poked out already. A little bit. It's not enough to kill them yet, but it will be eventually. In the top lane, we have Manchester forming up around Rift Herald again, because that is the only way they know how to take objectives. While Trine forms up around the bottom lane. Amumu is taking their Krugs. Will most likely tower dive if Trine manages to get the tower down low, or Manchester's bottom lane low. Yup. Manchester's bottom lane pretty much caught out. No, she has the cleanse up, actually. That's going to be a free escape. In the top lane, we have Fiora also... Nope, not escaping. Very close to escaping, but ended up dying there. Sivir, a very aggressive flash. Has not gotten the kill yet. Did get rooted. That is too bad for her. In the top lane, we are having another Rift Herald. I think across 3 games, they have captured 6 Rift Heralds. They just love Rift Heralds. Unfortunately, taking towers doesn't inherently make you better at taking more towers in the future, so it's maybe a little bit less valuable than getting kills or dragons. Ahri for Trine just sort of getting caught out and dying. So I guess I take my rant back, or my rant from earlier back. Cassiopeia and... or Lachlan and Hairless Crab are very evenly matched as players. I suppose neither of them have to retire after this game, if they don't want to. Alright, well. Senna is in the middle lane defending the tower until Ahri can come back, which leaves Seraphine kind of alone. Yuumi in the jungle, or in the river for some reason. And it looks like Seraphine's rotating towards mid lane too. They might be lane swapping. Yes, it looks like that is what's happening. We'll see if Manchester can pick up on that and respond in kind. Or if they just decide it's more valuable to have Ahri go up against Sivir and Yuumi versus Cassiopeia. Dragon will be up soon-ish. I believe that gray hourglass icon means 45 seconds or less. So we will probably see both teams coming toward the bottom lane. Fiora does have teleport, and so can come down if necessary, but Ornn is also picking his teleport and saying that he can go to the top lane if necessary to defend that tower again. Which seems to be the only way he ends up using teleport. Or Fiora will get the tower, maybe. Well, we'll need the other wave. That does give Manchester time to respond if they feel like it's necessary, but it looks like they're just going to give it in exchange for their second dragon of the game, which gives them permanent resistances. Again, very strong with Ornn. And it looks like Trine are trying to force a second turret out of this. But they are sort of scared off by the Cassiopeia there. Fiora going all the way, going to the second tower. Ornn is teleporting, and she'll just walk away. Ornn really can't afford to leave that top lane without teleport up. So it looks like Trine is banking on having a better 4v4 as both top laners sort of stay in the lane. Senna getting caught out a little bit there, but manages to escape in time. Lachlan charmed under tower. Olaf just ults and runs by. I think he was going to tank tower if necessary, but no. Lachlan has the stopwatch, which as we all know is the highest skill item in the game. It just says no to any mistakes that you might make. It looks like she's buying a Zhonya's Hourglass as the second item, which of course is like stopwatch, except you can use it more than once. So we're probably going to see a lot more high skill plays where Cassiopeia gets completely caught out, makes a massive mistake, and then just gets to walk out for free because of course she does. Baron is now up. It's a little early for either team to be playing around it, but it's just important to note that top lane now does have an actual objective that teams might fight over rather than the Rift Herald that seems like are just given away every game. Ornn is one level off from being able to upgrade the first of his teammates' items. Oh. Olaf and Ornn trying to take down the Fiora together. We'll see if it works. And it looks like it won't. That is Ornn ult and Olaf ult down though. They're caught out. They're too far away from tower to escape, probably. No, the Cassiopeia is going to come in and just save the day for them. Turn that into 3 kills for Manchester because their team just happened to be closer. For Trine, that is not what you want to see. That one really could have gone either way, and now it's going to lead to this inhibitor going down at the very least. Okay. In the bottom lane, we are seeing the same fights between Fiora and Ornn as we have been seeing this whole game. That is still not going to end with either person dead. Oh, wait. Actually, Ornn putting out a lot of damage unexpectedly. Killing Fiora despite having exclusively tank items. That's kind of strange. And now that it is a 4v5, it looks like Manchester have decided to go for Baron. And it doesn't look like Trine know, because they're not responding. Or maybe they were just sacrificing it. Well, it looks like Manchester is now sprinting at Dragon as fast as they possibly can. They have used Ghost. They have used Sivir Ultimate. They don't manage to get a kill because of Clutch Seraphine Ultimate and Seraphine Flash. And then Amumu just straight up misses a Q on a stun target. Poor showing by Trine at this moment in time. And it's another Flash given up for nothing. They really should have banned the Cassiopeia, I think, because this is pretty much how last game went. Or at least the parts of it I saw. Looks like Manchester are going to be taking their third dragon of the game. And that means it's one more until they get a permanent massive shield on everyone. So, for Trine, we are hoping, of course, that they don't do that. If you're a fan of Manchester, you're probably cheering right now. Though if you're a fan of Manchester, you're probably watching their broadcast. So, how about instead I just start being biased? Trine isn't doing very well here. This is much more like how I expected the first game to go, given the difference in their rankings. So I can't help but feel like Manchester went into this game, or went into this match, thinking that it was just going to be a free win, so they decided to do some, like, joke strategy they came up with. They saw in a YouTube video or something that involved, like, let's just sprint at the towers and never fight them. And then, you know, it didn't work because Trine are somewhat competent, and now they're playing for real. Which is not only disrespectful on a competitive level, they're allowed to do it, of course. Just kind of, you should probably treat every game as though it were serious. But it's also just disrespectful to me personally, and Trine's team, because I'm sure they have better... I know I personally would have things I would rather be doing on my Saturday than stay for another half hour because one team just didn't feel like playing properly. So, you know, of course I don't have proof of that. Maybe they're just really actually bad at the game, and Manchester are just getting lucky. And they have no idea what's going on. They just have a Cassiopeia player and no other thoughts in their head. But judging by how they're not making any mistakes at the moment, or at least not any mistakes that Trine can effectively capitalize on, I'm going to instead say that they are actually good players, and they're just, like, disrespectful of the competition. Trine are all grouped up defending their tower except for Fiora, who is split pushing in the top lane, although Ornn does have teleport. So I would bet $100 that as soon as she makes it to the tower, Ornn teleports down. Or we get an actual engagement in a real fight. Yeah, that is 2 major ultimates coming down for Trine. They managed to get 1 kill. Trading 1 for 1. Still 1 for 1. Yeah, okay. Manchester are now going to get every inhibitor. Ornn cannot teleport at the moment because they can just stun him out of it. So Fiora will probably get an inhibitor at the very least. Sivir trying to find space to back. She doesn't know that she's standing on a ward though. That turns into a kill for Trine. One more kill for Manchester. That is 2 for 2. Seraphine managed to avoid dying. So still that fight was roughly even. Fiora teleporting in as backup. The Yuumi ult finally coming down to absolutely no effect. And we are 3 minutes behind the real game as it's being played. Although I am in the same room as the Trine players, so I can generally tell when the game ends because I will hear different things coming from behind me than when the game is still going on. And I have some bad news for anybody who wanted to be here for another 20 minutes. Whatever happens, it happens soon. Yeah, that probably means that Manchester wins. Everybody on their team now gets 300-ish max health for free. And now they get to take Baron as well. And Trine has no inhibitors. I'm sure we all can see where this is going. Although worth noting that Fiora does have a 250 gold bounty exclusively from farming, as she does not have any kills. The bounty system works perfectly and makes a lot of sense. Trine can't really fight here, but they can't really afford not to fight. It looks like they aren't even getting a choice. Manchester have just decided that they are fighting. Cassiopeia steps a little bit too far forward and dies to Fountain Tower. But of course it doesn't matter as the game is already over. Jeez. Okay, so that is the end of the best of 3 set. For anyone who missed it, the first match is a separate VOD, and the second match was not broadcast. Trine, I'm sure, very disappointed with this first week performance. Hopefully they make it back and can go to the finals again, so that I might actually be invited this time. Well, either way, now that the game is over, I'm not sure any of you care